So shall we say action? Do you want to say action?
Okay. Action.
Hiding my to the Kaiako podcast. My leaders for leaders being hard to you. Here's what we have for you.
Kia ora, welcome to the Kaiako podcast. I am here once again in the Princess Mary Lecture Theatre. Haven't been in it for a while. I'm not sure if I can call
where's
it
the
though.
sign? Where's the sign?
Yes, no, I've lost the sign when I moved. Not sure what I've done with it. Would you still call it the Princess Mary Lecture Theatre though, Sam, if the sign's not here?
Well, you can't really call that for a couple of reasons. One, you've lost the sign, so how are we to know? And
Yeah.
two, that's not actually the Princess Mary Lecture Theatre, is it? Because the Princess
Well,
Mary Lecture Theatre is in our old flat, which
Well, it
neither of us
was.
live in anymore.
no, neither of us do live in that anymore.
So it's not really the Princess Mary Lecture Theatre anyway, is it?
No, and I suppose we should probably introduce you as Sam Wilson, just in case no one's met you, and I'm Simon O'Reilly. We
Just in
both
case no one's met you.
co-host. No one's met me.
We're both
Um,
co-hosts. Normally we'd be together. We've gone to some places like up the Port Hills. It was quite a good
Yes,
one.
that was a good one.
We've been to beside the Avon River.
Yes.
So we're usually in more interesting places than this, but because Simon's decided to enter the workforce finally, our schedules don't line up quite so well anymore. So we sometimes have to be a bit remote.
Yes. Hey, now Sam, have you heard the new podcast theme song?
No, I have not actually.
Have you not? Well,
No, I haven't. I don't tend to watch podcasts that I feature in, even though I haven't featured this season yet. I don't tend to
No.
watch the podcast because I know what's in them,
yeah.
and I
Well,
don't like to hear my own voice.
would you like to hear what's on this episode?
Yes. What's on this episode? Yes.
This episode,
Pretending that I don't know already, but yes,
No,
you
you
tell us
don't know
what's on.
already.
Tell us what's on this podcast.
Yes, no, I'll tell you.
Yes.
On this episode of the podcast, it's going to be a two-parter. Amazing, I know. About mentoring for LDT and what's involved. Oh, you're taking a sip from your cup? I'll do that too.
Oh yes, you got. What does that say on the bottom?
That goes through my mask.
What does that say on the bottom?
Nothing important.
So
So
you've written
on this
on the
episode,
bottom. What does it say?
no, I haven't written on the bottom. Definitely
Who
haven't written on the bottom.
Who wrote on the bottom?
Wasn't me.
Well, show us what it says on the bottom.
Oh, you've missed your opportunity.
Show
I'll
us
have
what
a
it
drink
says
again later.
Anyway, if you'd like to win a Kaiako Podcast cup, just email us at kaikopodcast@stjohn.org.nz and tell us what you like about the podcast already and what you'd like to see in the future. Do that by the end of July. We'll draw a winner from there, and we'll send you your very own Kaiako Podcast cup.
Will we?
Yeah, we will.
You sprang that one on me.
I've decided as head of marketing and giveaways, that's what we're going to do. All right. So
well,
Kaiako Podcast@stjohn.org.nz by the end of July, and tell us what you like and what you want to see in the future, and you might win yourself a Kaiako Podcast mug for all those cold winter days.
Yeah, so getting back on topic because we're not very good at staying on it. This episode of the podcast, we're bringing you Hadassah Top and FEMA Chrome.
Have we not done that bit yet?
No, I haven't done that bit yet. And they're going to talk about two different parts of the LDT mentoring kind of thingamabobbo.
Thing.
Yep, thing. Cool.
The thing.
Hadassah on this episode, because it's quite a long chat, Hadassah on this episode, she's going to talk about what's involved with mentoring a cadet and the lead up to LDT. And next time we'll hear from FEMA Crone, and she's going to talk about what's involved with the workbook once you get back into division, so that your mentor knows what parts of the book they need to fill in, all the bits and bobs that are in it, because there's a lot of bits and bobs in it. It's quite a big book, and a new process in the last couple of years. So it'll be a really good thing to hear about, and we'll hand over to Hadassah. Now, I'll just warn you, this was filmed on a Teams meeting a couple of weeks ago from the date at the moment. So I just kind of cut and pasted bits and bobs from it. So hopefully it's informative and I've cut and pasted the right bits. Let's have a listen.
So, but in this case, the definition for youth mentoring, by the New Zealand Youth Mentoring Network, is mentoring aims to provide a purposeful, structured, and trusting relationship that brings young people together with caring individuals who offer guidance, support, and encouragement. So that is probably a lot of our youth leaders in a nutshell. Is that we have amazing caring individuals like yourself who will offer that guidance, support, and encouragement. And some of you might not feel like you have the tools, but I think you already have so many tools and skills already in you. It's just us kind of giving you a bit of an idea of what it could look like and how it can help, literally. So I don't think this call is going to be very long at all because you'll be amazing. So the different types of mentoring that we are just going to lightly touch on, as you can see on the screen, as traditional mentoring is that one adult to one young person. So this is the mentoring that you'll probably see a lot with your mentee for LDT. Also, the other 2 and 3, which is group mentoring and team mentoring, is another form that you'll see, and this is kind of the one that you'll see at division. So it could be your one adult leader, but you've got 4 to 5, say, golds that have just gone to LDT, and you're sitting down having a chat with them, getting to know what it was like at LDT, what did you learn, what are the things that you noticed about yourself, things like that. And then team mentoring is, for instance, the 5 of us, we were working with a group of 20 golds, and then that is kind of our group. That team mentoring, as we can see, is just that we're facilitating and helping them. And then you've got your peer mentoring, which could be another young person. So it could already be a sergeant or a cadet leader helping someone who's coming through to their corporal, giving them advice, helping them with some tips and tricks of what they've learnt. And then e-mentoring is the one that we've all come to know over this pandemic, is what we're doing now. So online, using Zoom or Teams, and this is the primary type of communication. So this one could be one that you use a lot more because, as we know, with COVID, could be a little bit tricky in the next couple of months. So if we've got some of our cadets that are coming through and they're 10 weeks mentoring, even though, say, for instance, division might not be able to run, but we could still hop on a Teams call and check in with them, see how they're doing, and then see how we can help them through that.
The other
So that-
really neat thing about e-mentoring is you don't have to be in the same district or division as the person that you're mentoring. And that's a really great tool. Like if you've got, a cadet that's maybe moved divisions but still needs a mentor during that time, you can continue to mentor them even though you're not in the same space. So there's no hard or fast rule that says you must be in their division to be their mentor. And that's kind of cool too. Also in a smaller division, that's helpful because maybe you can get an external mentor in that can do e-mentoring, or maybe there's someone that they relate really well to on camp that could then be their mentor as well, one of the instructors. And so there's options. It doesn't have to be someone that comes to division every week with them, and that's pretty cool that we can do that.
Absolutely. And just to touch point on what Fee said there, I know with one of the cadets we had last year, they connected really well with their section officer. So the section officer reached out to the DM saying, hey, would you like to work as a team from what I saw on camp to what you're seeing at division, and we can help create a really good plan, because this particular cadet had some learning needs. And it was just really cool that both of them understood that really well, and that could help in 2 different ways. So that was a really cool support for them. With strengths-based mentoring, what we're trying to say here is that there's a lot of times, and we know this a lot with our young people, is that they can be very critical of themselves, of the skills that they do have, of the strengths that they think they might not have. But as a mentor, we are able to see a little bit bigger picture. So strength-based mentoring is about looking at what they have. So as a corporal, say for myself, when I came through, I was a bit on the quieter side. I was a bit more shy. I didn't really come out of my shell, and I thought that was not going to make me a very good leader in the future. But in this case, Fee could see past that and could see that I had the potential to be able to step out of my shell, but I just needed to see what my strengths were. So I was really good empathizing with people. I was really good at communicating with people on a friendship level. I didn't feel like I could lead people, but over time, when you have the right type of mentoring and you can start seeing your skills and your strengths for what they are, you can start building on them. And so this is what we're going to be trying to do at LDT, is to show them what are their strengths, what are they good at, because not every cadet and NCO is going to be, you know, the one standing in front of division, be able to have this like immaculate draw voice and command respect. There's going to be others that are going to be absolutely awesome teaching your penguins and having fun and engaging with them. So that's why we're looking at the different learning styles. Are they more visual? Are they more auditory? Are they reader writers, or the kinesthetic? And just helping them see that there could be a blend of them, but what is that strength that they have that we can help capitalize and build on for them. So with some of the ones that we have with learning needs, I know I had one a couple of years ago where he thought he wouldn't be able to be a sergeant because he didn't have the capacity or capabilities, but actually sitting down with him and showing him that he had a really awesome perspective and view on how to make engaging lessons, he absolutely thrived and is an awesome young youth leader today. So your mentoring really, really helps in this space. So,
I guess with that, it's finding out what your style is and what your mentee style is and how they can work together.
Yeah, that's a hard one. So yeah, definitely having that sit down. Even if you want this slide, we can send it for you or find it online. And just seeing. So for me, I'm a very visual kinesthetic learner. And I've had a few mentees in the past that have been very opposite to me, but we've made it work. So a couple of the ways that we made it work was she would write down what she was thinking, what she was learning. I would read it, and then I would give it back in an auditory form for her. So she got all her feedback from me in an auditory face-to-face setting, because that was the best way that she learned from me. So what is a power imbalance? Fee, pass it on back to you. Oh, I think you're on mute.
I just skipped across to the other meeting and let them know we're still here.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've got another one starting in a little while. Some people were very early to that meeting. Okay, so the mentor trainee relationship, you know, we've got to be really aware that there can be a power imbalance, particularly if they're worried that, you know, oh, they're not going to approve my promotion, or they're my, you know, divisional youth manager and they might not let me do this, that, or the other thing. And so as a mentor, often, you know, you've got more knowledge, more experience and status, and can be in a position of authority. And even someone who's not very senior, so we see this a lot with cadets who are mentoring younger cadets, the power imbalance is there. And so we need to make sure that we're providing support while not misusing that power imbalance. So if we have got our young people as mentors, which does happen in lots of divisions, it's just making sure that they still have a mentor that can make sure that they're mentoring in an appropriate way. And we want to make sure, you know, that it's a support and advocacy plan rather than a you must do it this way, because we want them to learn how to do it, not them to do it the way we told them to do it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So just oh, yes,
You
go
go.
for it.
Miko, you go.
Cool. So this is something that you can have a look up on Hatahone online. If you don't have that access, we can give it for you. And this has the CPP modules and you can refresh it. But with CPP, what we're just looking at is making sure that we're aware of it. So this is something you can sit down in your first mentoring session with them and say, hey, you know, as being over 18 and under 18, there are certain situations that we need to make sure we don't put ourselves in. So if you're going to have Your mentoring sessions, are we having them at division? So, there's other people around and you can have a chat. If it's online, having that consent from, the parents or the divisional manager knows, or having another person in that meeting as well. So it's 3 of them. And dealing with, disclosures, conflicts of interest. So with that one, it's saying, is your mentor someone you're related to, or someone who's watched you come up from a penguin and has a bit of a bias towards you, things like that. And definitely with that one, setting boundaries and sticking to them. So making sure that, if they're contacting you as a mentor, I could say, hey, I am available during the week. However, the weekends maybe after a certain time, please don't contact me. But here, these are the timeframes you can contact me. My best way is via email, or feel free to give me a phone call during these times, or flick me a text and I can give you a call back. So it's just giving them a good guideline of, hey, so Ross is quite busy. He has a life out of St. John. So making sure that I email him first and say, hey, Ross, I'd love to catch up for a session, or I'd like to discuss something with you. When's free for you? Would it be easier at division, or could I jump on a call with you and Kathy? Something like that. And then that's just making sure we're sticking to that CPP guideline, and that you don't feel put in a position, and they don't as well, of where it's a bit of an interesting situation. Anything to add there, Fee?
No, I think you've covered that really well, Hadassah. It's just, clear boundaries keep everyone safe, and you don't have to take a phone call at 10 o'clock at night.
No, please don't.
Don't start there.
You need to have a life out of St. John. It's not 2 hours a week. So this is something that you could brainstorm in your own time or with us, but feel free to ask questions as well. But things you can do now, how can you set your mentee up for success? So this could be planning before they come to LDT, sitting down with them. So for you, Shannon, you've got your cadet leaders, sergeants, and a corporal. So you could sit down and say, hey, so one cadet leader, you're going to be doing term 3, the other one doing term 4, and just giving them an idea of how you can support them on the journey, saying, we've got this in place, but I'd love to hear how you're doing after LDT, and we can have a sit down, catch up, and see how we can help you. So it's just seeing how you can make connection with your mentee. Just be like, hey, super excited that you're going to LDT. I hope you have a great time, learn some cool things. I want you to tell me when you get back at our first mentor meeting, the top 3 things that you loved at camp. And that's just a little something that might stick in their mind, saying, cool, my mentor's super excited to start this journey with me. They want to hear how I'm doing, and I can't wait for my first meeting. So that could be a really fun way to do that. And look at that. We're at the summary and what we've covered.
All right. So we've heard from Hadassah, and it was a really good, informative chat. Just like I promised, Sam's listening to the podcast theme song.
I had to have my headphones on because I used it. I watched it on my main computer, and this is running through my laptop. Don't know why I did that, but just easier. So
You did what you did.
So
What
now
did you think of the theme
listened to
song?
it. Yes, no, it's good that we've got a song for our own unique identity instead of having something generic. So you've done well there. You have my approval.
Yes. So we thank Kat a lot, above and beyond. She's gone.
Did you give her a
it's
cup?
absolutely beautiful. No, I didn't give her a
Did you
cup,
give her-
but if she sends me her address, I might send her one.
There you go, Kat.
And by
If you're
might,
listening
I will.
to this is a test to see if you were listening.
Yes.
Send Simon your address.
Yeah.
You'll get a cup too. Got cups to give out for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for listening to the Kaiako podcast, part A of 2. So that'll be part B, hitting your screen shortly, so you can hear from Fee McCrone. Thanks for listening. Sam, you got any closing remarks?
No. I just look forward to seeing you at the next episode in approximately 5 minutes' time.
Absolutely. Ka kite.
That's what we're filming it.
Thank you for watching the Kaiako podcast.